land in the skies, but is enough really being done to make those skies safer?
Well, a person who might have some of those answers is Marvin Badler, as a former chief of security for El Al here in America. He joins us from Boynton Beach, Florida, and I know it's very warm down there, sir. Welcome to the show.
Yes, it is. A little cool this morning.
Now, you guys, El Al has been known for its top-notch security. You ask a number of questions of people who are boarding the planes, like 16 questions as compared to 3 of most other airlines. Do you think that Air France has a kind of security in place that can protect us from terrorists like Al-Qaeda?
Well, it appears from the information that we have that the tip, so-called tip, came from the U.S. government. What France has in place is something probably close to what El Al might use of their screening process. The U.S. has to increase certain areas of their security process. I feel that when a person comes to the airport and is going through the security process, that's second or third line of defense. We have to start working on security before the passenger gets there.
I think it's fair to say that U.S. security is nowhere near where it should be, especially when you compare it, as Julian said, to El Al. I mean, it's, even in this day and age, 2 years after 9/11, we still have problems. But a big concern for us not only is what's going on at our own gates and behind the scenes on the ramps and so forth, but also what's going on in countries like Mexico, France, we've obviously looked at in the last couple of days. What's going on there? How protective are they of letting flights leave, coming to the United States, possibly with terrorists on them?
Well, in my experience traveling out of the country, it appears that most of these other countries, Mexico, South America, they do have some sort of a increased type of security. If they're coming on an American carrier, I believe that the American carrier should have responsibility of who the people or who the passengers are that are boarding our aircraft.
But isn't one of the key things, and I think Julian mentioned this, that El Al does is the psychological questions that that El Al asks. I mean, you really get into the heads and the minds of these people. If you got somebody who's about to commit a suicide attack and hijack a plane, you'd think that maybe they would be acting a little bit differently than just a regular person who's going there, jumping on for a business trip.
That's true. When you board an aircraft for El Al, when you're in the terminal, there are agents, there are security persons walking around the terminal. There are people, quotes, undercover, standing on line with you. They might be chatting with you. They may be listening. So there's a lot of things being done at the airport.
Marvin, I'm concerned. We've been talking about this here on Fox and Friends for a couple of weeks now. The Transportation Security Administration has they loosened some of the security restrictions on passengers. In other words, they can carry on certain things now that they couldn't before for a long time. What do you think about that, and how would you change things?
Well, as an example, right after 9/11, they instituted no more checking in of baggage at curbside. 3 weeks after 9/11, they lifted that ban and they started to take baggage that way. I mean, that's totally ridiculous. It should not have been done.
What is your concern? Do you think it's money that's causing this? Politics?
Yes. Well, economics, definitely. Politics, yes. I've done tests at airports where I put on a piece of luggage. I purchased a ticket, put the luggage on, and I went home. And the luggage was actually sent to L.A. from New York, and somebody picked it up in L.A. And inside I had a simulated explosive device. Nobody picked it up. Nobody searched it. Nobody x-rayed it.
Marvin, we got less than a minute left here, but you mentioned something that I thought was quite interesting, and if you can touch upon it real briefly, on what we could do prior to getting to the check-in gate, to those areas there. What would you do, and what can you tell us that El Al perhaps does?
Okay, when you call up to make a reservation, the reservation clerk, just during its process of taking the information, they would ask you, okay, do you need transportation when you get to the airport? Oh, no, my friend is picking me up. Well, what's your friend's name? They hesitate. Okay. All right, we'll call you if there's any changes. What's your friend's number? I don't know.
But then you get into the whole civil liberties issues and too much information being asked. And I know it's the kind of things personally for me I wouldn't mind them asking just to keep my flight safe. Marvin Badler, thank you very much, sir. We got to go. Your time is running out on your satellite as well, so we hate to cut you off. Very interesting. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're going to switch our focus now to the West Coast, the left coast.